at some point there's going to be a third world war.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakdash, double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Archeum, pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. Your brother Yassad back at you with another lesson. And this one here would be going into what would be the outcome of World War III according to the prophecies, because a lot of people they have many different scenarios that they think and they seem that may happen. Either some say America would prevail, some say China, some say Russia, but let's hear what the scriptures has to say, the prophecies, which we know the word of the Lord is true, of what would actually happen, the outcome of World War III. I will just play this clip because Elon Musk gave a small remark.
Yeah, of course. And after World War III, at some point there's going to be a third world war. Yeah, of course. And after World War III, who knows what's left after World War III?
I think that's going to end as nuclear warfare.
It could. So there's arguably this this race between, do we become a multi-planet species or World War III? Which one is first? And if World War III is first, maybe we never get to another planet. Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that multi-planetary species going into basically, they advancing and going into, basically going into Amina, being able to go on the next planet, the moon, another planet except the Earth, in case of any crisis that they may be able to flee, to explore outside of the Earth, if it have a habitation, like why he say a multi-planetary species. But hey, let's go into the scriptures, because hey, surely the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, they are true, right? Look, for instance, hey, the man made it clear with that World War III, there's gonna be what? Nuclear warfare, right? But hey, according to the scriptures, the victory that would be born, who would get the victory? It's not Russia, it's not China, America is not gonna prevail, but it's Yahweh Shai, because he's gonna intervene in that war. And let's get it. Let's going to start off with some scriptures, right? Let's start off here as in this precept, Isaiah 13 and 1 and 2. Lift ye up a banner upon thy mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So we as the prophets here, coming out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to basically wake up the children of Israel to the truth, back to the heritage, and mention that the great destruction is coming, as the scripture say in Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown, and the Lord had not done it, shall he, just roughly paraphrasing, but surely revealed the secret unto his servant the prophet. So we out here warning the people at the time to come, right? And with we bringing out that information, we basically reading out this charge sheet against the rulers of the world. That's why it say, that it may enter into the gate of the nobles. For instance, the banking families, they that control the whole world, and the money. I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. Yeah, right? And hey, the Lord in control of that, because hey, World War III is not inevitable. Right? Again, according to the precept, Revelation 11 and 14, the second to is past World War II. Right? And that is against Germany, the USSR, America, and whatnot, NATO, came fought against the Germans. As a war between Hitler, and behold, the third war cometh quickly, and that war went into destruction. Right? That's coming. But the Lord in control of the Lord master in the host of the battle. So the reason for that, Zephaniah 3 and Joel also. Well, let's get it Zephaniah, right? Because the Lord is also gonna intervene into that war. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day I rise up to the prey for my determination. And this is where you're seeing going on. The kings of the heart is in the hand of the Lord. So right now the Lord putting together, the Lord pouring out, sending for the okay unto the angels, go and pour out all them vibes. Stir up the spirit of the kings of the earth to bring that vibration of war. That is why you're seeing across the four corners of the earth. Even down here in the Caribbean, where it's mostly third world country, on this side we have no missile defense systems, dome systems, and all these things heavily, that we actually making and splitting the atoms and making nuclear. And a war came even onto this side, because that is the spirit. The spirit's working, pouring out the vials upon the earth to bring forth judgment. Zephaniah 3 and it continues, it say, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even on my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And that fire, again, as you mentioned, that nuclear warfare. Isaiah 54 and 16. Right? Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So going back into these nuclear scientists, the Lord gave them the knowledge that they are able to make and build these destructions. Right? That's why, as Yahweh Shai say, he come not to say he come to send fire on earth. Right? So Luke 12:49, I am come to send fire on earth. So Yahweh Shai is gonna make his great coming, and that coming, according to the prophecies, he's gonna make his appearance and coming through what? Through the through the chariots, and with the chariots, and in the time of World War III. So now was a slip of the tongue. In the time of World War III, Yahweh Shai is gonna make his appearance. Because here's the point. I am come to send fire on earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? Because this here is you're seeing the kindling of the fire. All these nations actually gathering together. You're seeing wars taking place, rumors of wars, and it's all gonna lead up to the war, the wars of all wars, the end of all wars, which is World War III. Through that, right? And so to actually see that the words of the Lord coming to light. This is what we have been preaching. Starting off with the elders and the apostles. 30 years, 20 years plus, and you're being able to see what you have been prophesying happening, and the time is speeding up according to the prophet. The time is surely speeding up for something like war to come to the Caribbean. We know the Lord basically waking up that's spirit of war. As it say in Exodus 15:3, the Lord is a man of war. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahusha is the name. Right? So that's coming. A great war is surely coming. To bring out also the Joel. Because the Joel now it's explaining Joel 2, Joel 3, and verses 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people. And this here is the point. The Lord is going to plead with them, judge them, and for my heritage. This is the whole reason why that judgment is coming, that time of war, destruction coming, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right? So that time is coming. Right? And here's the point. Right? Let's say that yeah. They what? They scattered the Lord people. Right? So the transatlantic slave trade, all these nations had the prime time of enjoying themselves, right? But the scripture say that oppression not going and rise up the second time. The Lord is coming to deliver his people, right? The Lord is gonna make his appearance, because without the coming of the Lord, we doomed. Because these nations is gonna swallow us up. Right? So let me get here. Book of Isaiah. Isaiah. Let me go into the select second Ezra 13. Second Ezra 13 and 1. Start at verses 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. When he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that was seen under him. So that man that he's talking about is Yahushua, because he's coming back. As it says, the scripture say, the same way you see him, the angel did say, the same way how we ascended, man. Yeah. Alright, the book of Acts chapter 1 and 11. Let's see. Alright. Men, I was reading it in the NLT. in the NLT, men of Galilee, and they said, why ye men of Galilee, they said, why are you standing here staring into heaven? Yahushua have been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go. Yeah. So just as Yahushua went, ascended up to the heaven, he's gonna come back. And that's why the scriptures say that in the same Revelation 1:7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they which also pierced him, and all kindred of the earth shall what? Shall wail because of him. Going back up that precept in 2 Ezra 13, it say, and behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things that saw him, all the things trembled that was seen under him. It said all the things trembled that was seen under him, because again, the so-called UFOs, hey, there's Three-Eye Atlas, the Comet, all these massive chariots and Maui and all these massive ships that they're seen out there. Hey, these are the chariots of the Lord. And that is why the scripture said that when he come, all are gonna see him, because going back into the giant and massive ship, he's gonna pull up in a that pictoprogramming, that prophesying on the left hand side, in the movie Independence Day. That is actually a great imagery, the coming of the day of the Lord. Right? That is a great imagery of how it's gonna be. Chariots come passing the whole heaven, the firmament. That's why you see he coming with all the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that was seen under him. And whenever let me jump to verses. Let me read on. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. So these chariots, they have capabilities of letting out fire, tempest, like laser beams. For instance, the destruction that was done in Sodom and Gomorrah was all for these chariots. As the scripture says in Psalm 68 and 17, the chariots of the Lord are 20,000, even thousands of angels, as in Mount Sinai. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Because when World War III is about to start, and Yahushua make his appearance with the thousands of angels, all these nations is gonna look to fight against him. That's why there's no coincidence that America developed a space force. About 5 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. Well, not even so long, right? I think that is the sixth part of the defense force. That is because they're seeing things out there. Because just imagine, we seeing these chariots and whatnot from afar. They have the technology, they be up in the skies, frequently. So they seen clearly what's out there. And that is why they have no choice but to prep themselves. Even Trump mentioned about what would happen if we were intercepted or attacked by an alien force. Right? Because they know it's coming. But behold, I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And that goes back into that massive chariot. That is why the scriptures say all eyes gonna see him. Because the size of the chariot, it's gonna bring that everyone is gonna see it, and they know, well, that is Yahushua pull up. Well, some of them won't even know, they'll have an idea, because the man being deceptive all these movies showing all these are aliens and these are bad and all these things, but not knowing these so-called UFO. Within them is the angels of the Lord. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And behold, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him was sore afeard, and yet does fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, because that violence going back into aircraft carriers, fighter jet, because basically that is basically World War 3, right? So you're gonna see all arsenal outside. So hey, when you look, you see the violence of the multitude, all these different fighter jets and missile deflectors and all these different things. What happened? He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but I only saw he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire. Laser beams, fire beams sent out from the chariots. And out of his lips a breathing breath, a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. And what I was preparing for, World War 3, all of them gathered up to start, and maybe to start a fight, sent a couple missiles at Babylon, destroy Babylon, because that is a prophecy. Or who knows how it may end up, you know? And burn them up, every one of them, that upon the sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Hey, so the prophet, hey, when he saw that vision, he was afraid with all the destruction and death. Right? Yeah. Because again, Luke's right, Matthew 24:31, and he shall, Matthew 24 and verses 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give a light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. We're back into these nuclear missiles drop in, right? The mushroom cloud from these nuclear missiles, that is what's gonna block out the sun, you know. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So this proved during that time of World War 3, the kick off that fight. The stars falling from heaven, nuclear done started, missiles done started drop. Now we know, hey, Babylon the Great, you gonna get wiped out by these nations according to the prophecies, as the scriptures say, you know, and they're gonna hate the whole and burn out fire. And they shall, it say, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. You know, during that time of World War II, missiles shot, Babylon, you know, destroyed, being destroyed. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with the power and great glory, which is what? The chariots, the angels. And he shall send his angel with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the earth from one end of heaven to the other. So hey, the Lord had to make his coming before the nuclear hit Babylon, because there's the elect to be delivered. So during that time, World War III, Yahweh will make his appearance with his angels to deliver the elect and bring judgment. The book of Daniel, during the vision, is 2 and right. Daniel 2:34, thou sawest still that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron, clay, and break them to pieces. Going back into this vision, that Nebuchadnezzar saw. It was a great statue with the different kingdoms, but in the end, here just being up on the point, Yahweh being that stone, he's gonna reap the victory, right? It's then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer's threshing floor. So all these empire, when the Lord comes back and take down all these nations, is basically the victory in the end. That World War III is gonna be Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures say. I'll get soon. The saints gonna take the kingdom. It say, and the wind carried them away, and there was found no more place for them, no more rulership for them. Because starting we had a gold Babylon, silver, the Medes and Persians, it was brass, silver, it had the Grecian Empire, and there's the iron, the Roman Empire. The iron mixed with the clay, the revived Roman Empire, and these kingdom. Starting from the Grecian, Esau get his due from heaven, his rulership. It's time to rule his empire, and it's soon going to be taken away according to the scripture. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Right? It's saying that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain. Going back to Isaiah 4 and 1, and I'll get it. And filled the whole earth. But before I get Isaiah, okay. Right. Or because going straight back into the, I was to mention this, Sirach 10 and 8. It said, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Because according to historical records, 250 years is the max that empires had the time to rule, right? And as of next year in July, somewhere around there, Babylon the Great is going on its 250 years of independence, a rule. So that's why I seen all these things happening, because everything is going according to the prophecies. So because of all this unrighteous dealings and whatnot, the kingdom being translated. So going to verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh. Again, Daniel 4:17. I'm going to bring it out. That's the point. This is by the matter of by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that let me read it over. Daniel 4:17. For this is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men. So the Lord and controller who is in rulership, who's gonna get the kingdom, who's gonna fall, as the scriptures say, he set it up kings and bring it down. Daniel was 7:21, 2:21. Let's see if it's not 2:21. Right, Daniel 2:21. And he changed the times and seasons, he removed kings and set it up kings, and giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. Right? So going back now, Sirach 10 and 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. Precept just back that up. The Lord in control are all who in rulership, who's going to rule, who's going to be taken out of rulership, all these things. And in due time, he will set up over it one that is profitable. And that one going to be set up is Jacob. Right? To David being the king. You know, the elect being set up, the 144,000 men, the governmental structure. As I was going to bring out just now, the Isaiah. Oh, before I get that, I was to bring out the saints going to take the kingdom. Got Daniel 7. Daniel 7 and 18. Start at verses 17, because it says an next vision, I think, right, with the 4 beasts of the earth, right, the Babylon, the Medo-Persian, and the Medo-Persian Empire, the Grecian, and the Romans, right. It's verse 17. These great beasts that are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. So that is what's going to happen. Yahushua come back with the angels, and they're going to take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And this is what's going to actually happen. You know, that is going to be the end all be all, the results of World War 3. Right? According to the prophecies, and the prophecies, the words of the Lord is true. Jump into verses 21. And I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the ancients of days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Right? Yeah. So that is what is going to be the end all be all. And this is where this prophecy is going to come to pass, the mountain of the Lord. Isaiah 2. So Isaiah 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established. The saints, the Israelites. Who is the saints? Right? Psalms 78. You know, the saints who had made a covenant with by blood. Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, which is the Israelites. Right? So it say, the Lord's house shall be established on top of the mountains, going back to all these different empires and kingdoms, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the house of the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of who? Jacob, the Israelites. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Yapa. You know? Nothing couldn't have made it more plain or more clear. Because just as how they in power, so they now giving out, setting out all these laws and rules and sanctions upon this nation, that nation, because they in power. They are the hegemonies. The same way when Yahushua come take the kingdom, you know, hey, the law is gonna go out to Jacob. So hey, hopefully this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Hey, according to the prophecies, which are faithful and true, you get your answer. You know, again, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles like great millstone that taught us this 100% truth through the Yoka Kodash. Till the next Shalom.